Hi, welcome to the video on maintenance. In this video, we're going to talk about cleaning the bobbin area underneath the needle plate. And this is very important. This can also, if it's not clean, it can affect your stitch quality and really make the stitching uneven if there's anything in the way of that thread path. So the first thing that we do in order to clean underneath here is we have to remove the needle plate cover here. The needle plate cover, we have a couple screws in the back here. We do have our tool to be able to unscrew these. It's a nice short tool. It does come with two bits in your toolkit, one that is a Phillips and one that's a regular. If you do need to switch it out, you can take a 2.5 millimeter Allen, loosen this and switch out your bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part, put it into the screw hole here. Now it is very important that we do push down hard, make sure that we're getting that screw so we don't strip anything out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the first one. So it's nice and magnetic. Take the screw, take it off, and we will put it aside for now. We'll take the second one, go ahead and unscrew it just like the first one. You can already see it's kind of coming loose. So these are the only two screws that you do need to remove for this needle plate. Go ahead and put this aside as well. I'm going to remove that needle plate, and now you can see underneath here, that whole bobbin area underneath here. This is also an important part to make sure to clean. I'll just show you real quick. We can take our brush and brush that out, making sure that we've got, that these holes are free of lint and it's nice and clean. So I'll go ahead and put that aside for now. And the second thing that I'd like to do in here is take out the bobbin case. So we're done with our screwdriver. I'll go ahead and put that aside as well. And to remove the bobbin case, we just take the little door, open it, and pull that bobbin case out.
After removing the bobbin case, we'll have to go to the controller and move the trimmer to the cleaning position. To do this, press L3. Then we will click on Thread Trimmer Cleaning Position and press the Start button. Once that's done, you'll see the trimmer open up and it is now in the cleaning position.
So after I've removed the needle plate, taken out the bobbin, and also moved the trimmer to the cleaning position, the next thing I need to do is take some compressed air, or if I have an air compressor, I can use the hose from that. One thing that you will notice is that as you use your machine, especially with applique, you're using any specialty materials, hats and things like that, you tend to get a lot more lint on the bottom side than you'd see with like t-shirts and things like that. So, this again can really affect your stitching if it's not clean. So what we're going to do is we have an air compressor, and I'm going to take the nozzle and just go ahead and blow some of that air out. You can see that that's quite powerful. After I do that, I can also take my brush here and utilize that to clean any small areas, especially up here in the trimming section. And after we do that, again, I want to use some compressed air just to make sure I got any loose lint that I took away with the brush. Within this area, remember, I do have my bobbin out. And while I do have the bobbin out, I want to take my finger, run it along this hook area, and just feel for any imperfections in here. Sometimes if you do get a burr on this area, it can cause thread frays. And if you do have a little burr in here, we do need to fix that. If it's large enough where you need to replace the hook, that can be one thing. Another thing that you can do, if it's minor enough, you can take some fine sandpaper and actually sand it off. But it's always good to go ahead and take your finger, really inspect this hook area, also the holding finger right here. Just take a close inspection, see if you see any imperfections here, that could hinder your thread quality. Now, even though we've taken the bobbin case out, it is important to also clean the bobbin case. So here I will take my bobbin case and I will take my bobbin out. I can just go ahead and flip it over, pull it out. And in my bobbin case, first of all, you would want to blow out any area in here. And we'll go ahead and just take the air compressor and just blow that out. It'll loosen that dust a bit. And then we also need to clean the spring area. The spring right here is the tension that controls how tight or how loose it is. So I will take my 3mm screwdriver. I'm going to go ahead and take that screw, loosen that screw a bit so it opens it up. So after I've loosened that screw, it will open that spring up a little bit. Now be careful with the screw, it's very short and very tiny, so if you do unscrew it too much, it can fall out. Just be very careful of it. So you might want to do this over a table with a bowl or something. Make sure it will catch it just in case. One of the things that we could do to clean this out is we can take that compressed air again, but kind of a trick that a lot of us use is actually taking a nice business card because the cardstock is very rigid, very stable, or you could take some nice cardboard. I'm going to go ahead and take my business card and I will put the corner right in the spring here. When I take that corner, I'll go ahead and slide it through that spring. It will loosen any of that dirt. I can take it out, put my bobbin back in, and then do the tension accordingly. So I can go ahead and put my bobbin back in, make sure again it's going clockwise when it's facing you, put it through the slot here, into the spring, and through the little tail here. Now here, my bobbin is a little too loose and I'm going to tighten it back up. But as we saw in the other video, in the tension video, you can see how to change your bobbin, whether it is too tight or too loose. So after we have cleaned this area here on the tubular arm, we want to put that needle plate back on, and it's really important that we get that lined up properly. First of all, before we put it back on, we need to move that trimmer back into the original position. So while I'm on my T8 controller, I can just hit the previous button to go back to the position. It moves it back to where it's supposed to be. Now I can take my needle plate. I will position my needle plate back on top and make sure it does line up with the screws. Now this is important. I'm going to just go ahead and put the screws in just to hold it, in place. But as you can see, as I'm putting the screws in, this plate can actually move a little bit. So it's really important that we do have it lined up with our needles, because if our needles are not lined up correctly, going through that hole, it could touch either side of this needle plate right here, and you could have a lot of problems, not only with thread quality, but also damaging the area. So I'm going to twist in these screws just a little bit, enough to where I have some room to tighten. And now what I'm going to do is on my controller, I will go ahead, go back to the main screen and put my needle in the down position. I can keep moving it in the down position, just increment by increment, and really look inside there. You can see, I still can move that needle plate. That needle plate has some play in it. If I can't quite see the needle going through, I can take the top of the presser foot here and pull it up. Now if I look, and this might be easier to do while you're sitting down, I can see I've got it into position there. I want to hold it and then tighten my screws. Again, you want to tighten it, but not too tight where you can't get it undone, or you're going to strip the screw when you try to open this up again. But you can see I'm pretty much in the middle there. If I need to move anything around, I can. I'll do my final adjustment here. make sure that's all back on. Now I can go ahead and hit shift and the up position for the needle. And what I've done is now successfully cleaned this bottom area of the tubular arm. One thing that I always want to reiterate is that using this brush is very helpful because it can get into those little nooks and crannies. So again, this is a very important piece to clean. If you're doing a lot of hats, do this more often than you would with regular embroidery.
This time we would like to show you how to align needles on our ZSK machines. On one of our videos you have seen already how to exchange it, but we want to go a little bit deeper and to show you how to align it on the right way to avoid actually thread breakages, even needle breakages. In this case, first of all, we get out one of these needles. I will take here needle number 1. The thread is already taken off, so I get in with my screwdriver, actually an Allen key, and open now the screw. So, and now I'm able to get off the needle, as you know already. Also, you know that we have a back side and a front side of the needle. We did show it already on our last video. In this case, I want to go a little bit more further. You have to be careful in one case. If you open the screw too much, it can happen, as you can see already, that the pressure foot falls down, including the holder. There is also a washer, which I will show you. There is a washer, and there is also a rubber ring. Be careful, it should not be that you lose it. Fortunately, in our spare part bag, we do have them inside. So if you lose them, no worries, they are here in. So the idea is now, or actually the question is now, how can I bring it back? It is basically not so difficult. You have just to take care what is your neighbor doing, basically how is it fixed on the neighbor needle. And I just have to look it and I see, well, the pigtail here has to go to the right side. And then the next thing will be, and even I can see it underneath, the washer has to be next, and then the rubber ring. So put them together. And now it will be a little bit tricky because the pressure foot has to be lifted up, but there are like 2 steps. Make sure you really push it up, and then I get it back in a position where the screw has to be placed. It's almost the same angle as you can see. Then I take the Allen key and try to find the hole. That's a little bit tricky too, but I think I got it now. So finally I have it. And don't close the screw. Be careful. Don't close it because we have to bring back the needle as well. All right, here's the needle now. I'm looking again, where's the front side, where's the back side? Front side is here. I bring it back. First to the pressure foot. Bring it up until it is not possible to get it more moved. And slightly we call it the eye of the needle, or the hole of the needle should slightly go to the right, to the right side. Slightly. We're talking about 10 degree, and then you tight the screw again. And basically we are finished. Just as a tip, if the needle shows to the left side, it causes problems for sure. Don't do it, please. Over slightly to the right, about 10 degrees, 15 degrees, not much more. It is also possible to put it just straight. It's also nice, but it should be like that. Thank you for listening.